Hi, this is Dave Cox, founder of FirmoGraphs. Welcome to our video log on the FirmoGraphs Water Mart. We have an exciting demonstration to share today on how to use business intelligence, or BI, to find stories in critical North American water utility data. Our Water Mart is a labor of love. Let me stress the labor. We start with a bit of EPA data, like a grain of sand in an oyster. And that grain of sand was about 50,000 public water systems that have EPA permits. The real work comes next, however, in harvesting hundreds of thousands of data elements from public record documents. For the U.S. public water utility market, these documents are related to financial planning and reporting. Documents come in the form of audited financial statements, presentations, meeting minutes, and multi-year capital improvement plans. Also, don't forget the state-level compliance programs that we curate data from. So it's everything from a 5-page PowerPoint to a 5,000-page financial plan. At this point, you might be asking, why? Why do all that work? The answer is the data available in all these disparate documents and databases matters. It matters because it enables organizations that serve public water utilities like engineering, construction, and materials firms to carry out market planning. It matters because new tech companies bringing novel solutions to this necessarily conservative industry want to find their best target customers. The utilities themselves want to be able to benchmark more in meaningful ways against their industry peers. In the next few minutes, I'm going to build a dashboard from this data in our chosen business intelligence tool, ClickSense Enterprise. I'm starting with a blank sheet, and by the time we're done, you'll have a configured dashboard. The only thing I did in advance was set up the data names. Using my favorite cooking show metaphor, I don't want you to change the channel out of boredom, so I've chopped the onions backstage. You'll see that I configured some master dimensions and measures. Dimensions are the things we're interested in. For example, the public water systems permitted by the EPA and the organizations that operate them. The U.S. state or territory where the system operates is a dimension. Now, measures are the values attached to those dimensions. You can count the number of dimensions, like the number of drinking water systems serving different population segments. Or you can calculate a measure, such as the sum of capital projects being planned in a certain time frame. We've defined our dimensions and measures with this chore done ahead of time so we can cook and enjoy our meal. Next, we'll add a simple table. Every dashboard needs tables, and you'll see many of them in our configured applications. Dragging in our 1 dimension and 2 measures, we can see population served by region and service connections in each region. Note, by the way, that you can right-click on any table and export the data to your favorite spreadsheet program. Key performance indicators, KPIs. Every executive worth their salt needs to see some good KPIs on their dashboard, right? Well, the BI tool is smart enough to know if you're dragging a measure onto your sheet, it should be a KPI. This is a good time to pause our cooking and taste the sauce.
That's what I call spicy.
Any dimension you select acts as a filter. First, we'll filter on community water systems and those that are owned by municipalities. Next, I'll choose the top 3 states from my table: California, Texas, and New York. I could see, looking at the KPIs, that those account for about 46 million of the US population served by these utilities, which is about 15% of that 310 million total. Looking at my table, I can add the organization name to quickly create a list of organizations in those states. Finding new leads and then pursuing the right ones becomes so much easier using these tools. Can you imagine how long this exercise would take in spreadsheets? When I ask customers that, they generally answer days, weeks, or never. We can never do this with our existing spreadsheet. First, the bar chart. Click has terrific, easy-to-use bar charts that really complement our data. Let's look at some data we've curated with respect to utility operations. I'm going to add one more to my list of current filter selections. That is the indicator type. I'll look at miles of water main, a KPI that's popular with our customers interested in water loss. Now I'm adding that to a bar chart along with the organization name. Next, a map. You can choose different layer styles, and in this case, I'll choose the area layer option. Customers use this capability to find local utility peers who may be interested in discussing the same sort of regional solutions as other companies are using. Also, if you're a utility thinking about doing a new project, it would be nice to know who to benchmark against, even if those benchmarking partners are not exactly in your region. Finally, it's worth mentioning that we curate tens of thousands of relevant industry contacts and keep this information fresh since there's constant turnover in all organizations, even in the somewhat stable water utility market. Once you define your target market, or do you decide who you'd like to benchmark against, it's very useful to be able to know who you're going to be calling or emailing. Well, that's it for today's demonstration. We've just scratched the surface today in terms of available data and functionality within the Water Mart. You've seen that our solution includes the ClickSense BI software and the data that we've curated. It's ready to use. You can also mash this data up against your own internal data resources. It's very common, for example, to integrate with CRMs like Salesforce.com. We have experience with several. I hope this has whetted your appetite and we'll have a chance to show you more. Please click below to subscribe.